Welcome to Black and White Recovery. Your hosts have been associated with recovery programs for over 50 years. This show is not associated or related to any 12-step program. The advice is strictly to be taken as advice, or it may be used for drinking games. Always consult with your sponsor, attorney, doctor, or anyone with more common sense other than Lee.
Lee, that's Ian. Together we collectively have whatever we said at the top of the show in those wonderful credits, where apparently I'm a drinking game to people who are in recovery. Considering that I wrote the copy for that, it was funny at the time, and now it's just, it drags on. But I digress. Welcome to Black and White Recovery. We are all here. We're here.
Yes, we are.
We're here to talk about our views of recovery. Ian is the person who goes to meetings. I am the person who comments about people who go to meetings and doesn't really want to go to meetings. But I have a lot of time, so I talk a lot of shit.
Well, I talk a lot of shit, too.
Well, I think that comes with time. I mean, time seems to be irrelevant to everybody but the person who has the time.
No, I talk shit from day one.
Did you really?
Yeah.
No.
Well, I had this guy, they call him... well, we don't have to mention his name, but everybody in Phoenix will know who it is. He walks up to I'm walking into a club for like the first time. He meets me before the door, and he opens up his big book and he says, "You know why this page is blank? Because you don't know shit."
No shit, yeah.
And then next thing I know is I flipped him over the car, and my PO pulls up, and yeah, it was bad.
What was your first year like in the program? I will give you an example. I went to a CA meeting where I saw a person have a nervous breakdown, and then I saw another person talk about their sponsee coming over at 2 a.m. and basically having a gunfight with a drug dealer, and I knew that I didn't want to be a part of CA in my first week of recovery.
See, that would be, for me, attraction.
Yeah, see that? Well, you live in Arizona. First of all, I would imagine... I don't know what to get into. I want to talk about first year. It's a good segue.
Okay, let's talk about first year.
I want to talk about first year. Our first year, what other people's first years are like. But let's talk about it from this. How important is it... You still sponsor. I don't give a shit about sponsoring nor being sponsored because I know everything. How important is it to be in a community? To be a part of a group. Like here in Southern California, where I am, there's sort of this little Covina niche, right? My two closest friends here locally are sober people. Duh. No shit for anybody listening. And yes, they talk shit. In fact, they talk so much. One of them talks so much shit, who's probably listening to this show. And by the way, go back and listen to You're So Vain You Think This Show Is About You. It's about him. So, and I love him. And that's the fun part.
Right.
But those are the people that I knew. Where I got my first sponsor was I moved to the area. I felt like relapsing. I went to this meeting. I heard a guy speak. He told his story. I thought it was my story. It wasn't really my story. Right, but we all have that moment of, oh my God, he's telling me my life story. He's not really telling you your life story that happened for him. He's telling you his life story that happened to hit on a few bullet points, and you feel that he's talking directly at you. And that guy became my sponsor, and that's how I got the first chunk of real time, was because I ran with that guy. And it was a community. It was like a group of people. And when I was socially awkward, his friends were my friends. How important is that?
It's extremely important. I mean, you know, I remember distinctively a time in court. I was being sentenced, and you know, I had like 15 people from my home group there in court. Now, there was also, they like put people in the jury box that don't get out, so there was about 15 county prisoners. I knew about 8 of them from the streets, and not one of them stood up and told the judge what a good guy I was. I was always good for a front. My bag was never light. You know, I'd go over and keep his old lady company while he was locked up. I mean, nobody ever said that, but here I had 15 people that I'd known for 5-6 months that were willing to vouch for me.
Wow.
Yeah, that was my crew. That was I was the end of a litter.
The end of a litter. Okay.
Yeah,
and
those were my litter mates.
at the time, your first sponsor, who's, I'm going to take a wild guess, not your sponsor today.
No, he is.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Wow. How much time did he have when you asked him to sponsor you?
Coming up on 10 years. He's got
See,
9.5 years.
because when I first got sober, I knew so little that I was going to ask a guy who only had 30 days more than me, because he had shit I wanted.
Right.
I mean, I didn't know any better. You don't. I will agree with the page one. You really don't know shit. You really, if it's your first walk in there, you don't know shit about the program. Like, I wish I knew then what I knew now, and I would have done things totally different. I mean, I got sober before I actually had my personality.
Right.
Well,
I
okay.
mean, why would you have done things different? It seemed whatever you did seemed to work.
Yeah.
Maybe not work in life, but work in recovery.
Right. Well, do you subscribe to the open doorway that you're happy where you are right now? You had to get here, going through the muck and the grime to get to where you are right now thing? Are you a subscriber to that?
No.
No, neither am I. I think it's horseshit.
No.
I'd take a shortcut, okay? Yeah. I'd break the law if I didn't think I'd get cut. My white guilt keeps me from not breaking the law, okay? I'll call it exactly as I see it. I'd be a drug dealer. I just think I'd get caught. I mean, I'm just being realistic on that.
I wouldn't even know how to deal drugs now. It was just so much easier just to rob them.
Let's be honest. We could be a lot slicker about it. We got podcasts. There's all kinds of cool ways. Like, I thought about it. I'm setting up affiliate marketing. For those of you who don't know, Black and White Recovery is now a part of iHeartRadio.
Nice.
All you got to do is type in blackandwhiterecovery.com, and you will go to the iHeart page, and you can listen to all your favorite episodes. Now, with that said, I'm also good plug.
Soon to be favorite episodes.
But I also produce a bunch of podcasts, and I have to get advertisers. And I was thinking about it this morning. Boy, what a great vehicle to move drugs covertly from Canada or like some other wackadoodle affiliate marketing program. Like, I'm looking at all the things you can affiliate market to make money. I think I want to move. If I didn't think it was such a bad program move, for this show, I would do Canadian pharmacies. Does that make me a dick?
Yes, but they never stop calling.
No, I'm sure they don't.
And they must have like a huge Pakistani community in Canada, because it always seems like it's, Eastern Asian people calling.
Do the Canadian pharmacies work? I've never ordered from them.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to take a wild guess you have.
Yeah, but it comes from Istanbul.
Oh, does it really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, getting back to first year. That was a digress.
Their Viagra does, anyway.
Their Viagra does. So I digress.
Not that I would know.
Not that you would know. So I'm in this community here in Covina, California, and there's a center to the universe. Who was the center to the universe when you were first getting sober? Who is the man? You are the man. Who's the man?
I was the man.
You were not the man when you first came into the program. That is so full of shit.
No.
I call bullshit. I call bullshit.
Well, that's how it was.
There's no way. You probably thought that way because I know your personality.
Well, right.
But who was really the man?
In recovery or in life?
Yeah, no, in recovery, not in life. Who was the big man on Sober Campus when you first got sober?
Oh, that jerk off?
Yeah, that guy.
Oh.
By the way, that guy in my group was the guy that became my sponsor. He was he was from the East Coast.
No wonder you don't like meetings.
What? No matter what? What?
That's why you don't like meetings. This guy, I can't even remember his name, but he was this old dude. He used to use note cards. He thought he was quite the coxman, even though he was like 65.
Okay. Did he have a nickname?
No.
See, I always wanted a nickname. Like, I got sober with the premise of wanting a nickname. I didn't know till later on. By the way, I'm going to give a big insider tip to everybody in the program. Everybody ready? Big Book Larry or Big Buck Bill or Big Book Bob or
Big Book Jack.
Or Big Book Jack or Angry Carl, whatever, wherever you're listening and you know a guy with it, he gave it to himself. It wasn't given to him. That's a lie. That might be the story that people tell around the campfire. The reality, and I've learned this much later on, it took me many years, you can give yourself a nickname right now. Just start referring to that nickname right now at meetings, and then it's the meeting rule.
Yes, and talk about yourself.
Talk about yourself.
Because
talk about your nickname.
Is really healthy.
Right. Then steal from others, giving credit for the first 90 days, and then after 90 days it becomes part of your story. How'd I do? Did I cover it correctly, like I was just starting out?
I don't know. Whenever I say something that I've heard somewhere else, I still say I heard it somewhere else. Because somebody may not like it.
I was told that you can steal from other people, but you have to give credit for the first 90 days to 1 year, and then after that you may use it as your own story.
That's a California thing.
That is a California thing.
I don't know. It's probably an everywhere thing. I just don't care. I don't do it, so it's not important.
Okay, so your first week in the program, your group is standing up behind you. You're getting your collective shit together. How are you picking? Did you go to the hospital or did you just dive straight into the program?
Well, the words that made it sink in for me was no bail, and I couldn't buy my way out of jail this time for the first time ever.
Had you tried the "I'll go to rehab" clause?
Well, we were trying to avoid that, but we knew it was coming.
Don't we all?
We knew it was coming.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, my one of my first moment of clarities was at about 30 days sober. I was still trying to get out of jail. I had a couple of singing auditions in L.A. that I needed to get to, and the judge just said, "Oh, you better tell them you won't be there for a while." And it was weird. My agent from CAA flew in. My lawyer was there, and another lawyer was there. And I'm like, man, I must really be missing something good for this kind of parade. And anyway, they brought me back to the like dormitory where all the guys were, and we were watching TV. And OJ got acquitted of 2 murders, and I figured that he killed 2 people and gets to go home tonight, and I'm stuck here with all these yo-yos. I really need to make some life changes.
You would think.
Yeah. And it was about 3 weeks later till I got released into treatment.
Okay. So you go into treatment. What let's give a lovely plug for the fine facility that created you. Where did you wind up?
Sierra Tucson. I thought I was going to prison the rest of my life, so I was going to live it up for 6-8 months.
That's Christmas compared to prison.
Yeah.
Nice. So you wind up in Sierra. So what's the meeting structure like at that lovely hospital? What's a day in the life, rinse and repeat like?
Well, you got to remember, I went in there with about 45 days clean, so I was only in detox for about 4 hours. Okay. First guy that walks up to me, bodybuilder dude from the East Coast, walrus mustache, tanning bed tan. And he's like, so have you ever tried the program before? And I'm like, yeah, I was exposed to meetings when I was younger. And the guy's just like, oh, well, let me guess. You stopped talking to your sponsor, you stopped going to meetings, you stopped working the steps, you stopped reading the literature, and even though you were able to stay abstinent, your life got so crazy you were better off drinking. And I'm like, man, this guy knows me better than I know myself. He had me figured out.
It's like he's psychic.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even realize all that, but I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Nice.
And he's like, what step did you get stuck on? And at that time when I was 21, it was the second step.
That's what?
Yeah.
I don't even know how to respond to that. Like, most people don't get stuck there.
Yeah. No, I got stuck there and just left the program and just remained abstinent for about 3 years more, and then at 25 I finally picked up again.
Okay. So you...
So I meet this guy.
3-week program. Yeah. 3-week program.
Yeah.
and find